No hesitation, no questions, just his invitation. I stole a glance in the mirror, my body already buzzing with anticipation, the New Orleans night thick outside my window. I stepped toward his familiar door, breath steady, mind racing. My hand reached for the knob, expecting him frank. The door swung open, but it wasn't him. A younger man stood there, lean, sharp-eyed, his nephew Jack crashing in for the week. "Guess I was right about you," he whispered. I met his gaze, bold, and stepped inside. I slid into the cab's back seat, barely settled, before Frank climbed in the door, slamming shut. The city's lights flickered past neon streaks on the glass as we pulled away. His hand found my thigh, warm, firm, pressing just enough to remind me how much he wanted me. "Can't keep your hands off me for 5 minutes," I teased. He grinned, grip-tightening eyes still burning from dinner. He knew exactly what he was doing. I turned to him, our faces inches apart. "What am I doing?" His thumb traced lazy circles on my skin, testing my patience. I bit my lip, leaning close, my breath warming his ear. "You like it when I do this." His fingers dug in enough to make me gasp. Not as much as what comes next. The driver cleared his throat, and Frank pulled out his phone, tapping the screen. Without breaking eye contact, he said, "I'll send the address." The GPS chirped, and we moved. My fingers grazed his arm, slow teasing. "Good choice," I murmured. He exhaled like he'd been holding it in all night, the tension crackling between us. His hand never left my leg, my body humming with expectation. When we reached his place, I was breathless. He tossed bills at the driver, not waiting for change. The front door clicked shut, and he turned to me, eyes dark, hungry. Finally. His lips crashed into mine, the heat from the cab sharpening heavier now. His hands were on me the second the door closed, fingers tracing fabric that suddenly felt too tight. He guided me back through the dim hallway, his grip firm on my waist. My back hit the wall, a soft gasp escaping as his breath warmed my neck. His fingers found the zipper of my dress, easing it down, slow, deliberate. I pressed my palms to his chest, feeling the tension beneath, and tugged his shirt in return. We barely made it to the bedroom, hands greedy, clothes slipping away in hurried motions. My legs hit the bed's edge, breath uneven, body alive with want. The door slammed shut, and there was nothing but his heat. He pressed me into the mattress, lips tracing my skin, his touch sure yet reverent. I arched into him, fingers tangling in his hair, pulling him closer, guiding him. We moved together, slow at first, then faster, our rhythm instinctive. At some point, I pressed a hand to his chest, taking control. His fingers gripped my waist, breath unsteady, eyes dark as he let me lead. But he wasn't done. His lips curved into a knowing smile before he moved, flipping me effortlessly. His hands traced my back, lingering, making me shudder before pulling me against him again. His movements were deliberate, relentless, pulling me deeper into him, into the moment until everything else faded. The tension coiled sharp, unbearable until it broke. Pleasure ripped through me, pulling him with it, our breaths tangled in the silence. For a long moment we didn't move. Then he leaned down, pressing a warm kiss to my shoulder, his arms wrapping around my waist, holding me as the last tremors faded. My pulse slowed, but the satisfaction lingered heavy in the quiet. I didn't know the time, and for once I didn't care. Morning came, coffee brewing as I stepped into the kitchen. I grabbed a mug, pouring a cup, letting the warmth seep into my fingers. "Didn't think you'd still be here," a voice said. I turned, mug at my lips. Jack leaned in the doorway, sweatpants low, no shirt, his smirk lazy, confident. "For someone I just met," he said, eyes dragging over me, slow, deliberate. "So you're the one keeping my uncle busy?" I swallowed, lowering the mug. And you're his nephew. He stepped closer, grabbing a mug, voice dropping. Gotta say I expected someone else. His eyes flicked over my bare legs under Frank's oversized shirt. Older, duller, not this gorgeous first thing in the morning. I let out a soft laugh, shaking my head, setting the mug down. You're bold, I'll give you that. He echoed me, tilting his head. Bold or just honest? I held his gaze a beat too long, then pushed my chair back. Nice meeting you, but I should go. He didn't move, just watched me over his mug. Shame. I was enjoying the view. I snorted, hiding a smirk as I turned away. Hope we meet again, he called after me. And next time you won't be in his shirt. I didn't stop, didn't look back, but I felt his eyes on me the whole way out. The next night, my phone buzzed. No small talk, just straight confident. Exactly what I liked. Less than an hour later, I stepped out of a cab, smoothing my dress, approaching that familiar door. But when it opened, it wasn't Frank. Jack stood there, leaning in the doorway, smirk lazy knowing. Thought you'd show, he said. I raised a brow. Where's your uncle work emergency last-minute trip? He said, voice light but smug, like he was waiting to see if I'd bite. I eyed him unimpressed. What are the odds? He didn't bother faking innocence. The silence stretched thick with something unspoken. He didn't move from the doorway, didn't invite me in, but didn't block me either. I could have walked away. Instead, I laughed softly, shaking my head. You set this up, didn't you? His smile widened. Would you mind if I did? I stepped past him, brushing just enough to make my point. If I did, I wouldn't be here. He let out a low laugh, closing the door behind me. Good, he whispered, because I'm not letting you go just yet. I turned to face him, head tilted, challenging. Then, stop wasting time. His smirk flickered like he hadn't expected me to be so direct. I smiled, stepping closer. His hand slid to my waist as I sank onto him on the couch, my lips grazing his soft at first, then demanding. He leaned back, eyes darkening, meeting me, wanting this as much as I did. You wanted this, didn't you? I smirked, hands sliding down his chest, nails dragging lightly. What do you think? His breath hitched as I moved, lower lips tracing a slow path down his body. He tensed beneath me, fingers gripping the cushions, the air thick with anticipation. I took my time teasing with light touches, savoring how his body answered mine. His hands found my hair, fingers tightening, breath uneven as I pushed further. Just as he neared the edge, I pulled back, lips grazing his skin before sitting up. His head fell back, chest heaving, breath ragged. You're playing a dangerous game, he said, voice hoarse. I smiled, taking his hand, leading him forward. And you love it. Before he could challenge me, I wrapped my legs around his waist, pulling him down. His hesitation lasted a second before his hand slid over my thighs, lips pressing into my skin. A sharp breath escaped as he moved deeper, my senses alive, my fingers tangling in his hair, guiding him. The pressure built, coiling tight, almost too much. Just as I neared breaking, I pulled him up by his hair, breathless. He sat back, barely steady, before I was on him again, hands pressing his chest, taking control. A shudder ran through him, his fingers gripping my waist as he let out a low, ragged breath. I moved slow, setting a deliberate rhythm, letting the tension stretch. His hands pressed into my skin, his restraint fraying as I commanded the pace. Not yet, I murmured, shifting just enough to keep him waiting. His groan was low, fingers digging into my thighs, barely holding on. Faster, deeper, every move burned, rippling through me, pulling me closer, deeper. I pushed us both to the edge, my body tightening, trembling. The pressure broke, pleasure tearing through me, a deep groan escaping his lips as he followed. His grip tightened, consuming as we gave in completely. But I wasn't done. His body still trembled beneath me, breath uneven. Too soon. I slid lower lips, tracing his skin, teasing him back to readiness. He gasped at the first touch, fingers twitching. "You'll kill me," he muttered, voice raw. I hummed, working him slowly, pulling him back into the moment. His breath grew ragged, grip tightening as he surrendered again. I didn't wait, climbing over him, hands braced on the couch, leaning into him in a silent invitation. A trembling breath left him as his hands settled on my waist, pulling me back, slow at first, too slow. I pressed against him, urging him, and he gave in, his movements urgent, steady, commanding. I felt every shudder, every pulse, the pleasure building until it broke again, shattering me, my breath gasping, vision blurring. He tensed behind me, a deep groan escaping as he let go. Then a clatter, the front door swung open. Some men would call this wrong. Others wouldn't blink. Be honest, would you let her in? Tell me in the comments, I read them. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more. Thanks for watching.